I love watching these videos, these journal ecosystem videos. Like, I could listen to people talk about their journals for hours on end. I think it's really insightful and relaxing. So I thought I would make my own video to add to the mix. At first, I didn't really think that I had a journal ecosystem because I struggle to journal in the traditional sense. I struggle to keep that habit, even though in the past there have been times in my life when I have, and it's really helped me. So I feel like I'm always trying to amend that and create a more regular practice out of journaling. When I think of journaling, I think of the practice of keeping logs of your day or your thoughts and feelings. When I thought about it more and after watching a lot of these videos, I guess journaling is a lot broader than I thought it was originally, and I actually do some form of journaling slash record keeping. I'll show you the notebook I use the most, which is this tiny little notebook. This is by the Hobonichi brand, which is a pretty popular brand of planners lately. I feel like a lot of people have been getting into them. But this book itself is just plain grid layout and nothing else. I would have to say that grid layout notebooks are probably my preferred paper type. I just find it really satisfying when every letter can fit in its own box. I started using this notebook this year, in fact, and I use this to just take notes on mostly books, but just things I'm interested in. And I would have to say this has mostly other people's ideas that I'm just kind of jotting down because I want to refer back to them. So yeah, this is kind of a reference book. It largely has quotes from books that I want to remember, whether it's to help me understand the book or if it's just something that I found impactful. Books are not the only thing that I take notes on. I went to a tea workshop and I just wrote down some things that I thought were interesting from that. This is the notebook that I used the most, like I said, and I carry this around with me everywhere. So I put on this little pen loop that's kind of like a paper clip that holds your pen. I can pull it out of my bag and I'm ready to take notes, Okay, my next notebook is nothing fancy. I got this notebook for free from work and I covered it with stickers that I liked, mostly pertaining to food because this is my recipe notebook. In the front, I just have a metal clip and then some random printouts and recipes that I'm collecting. And then, yeah, I pretty much just write down. A lot of these recipes are from various places on the internet, blogs or TikToks. And I find it a lot more convenient to write down recipes that I love here rather than searching through all of my bookmarks and saved videos. I can write down the recipe in the format that I find the most useful and easy for me to read. For example, if I have a recipe that I like that's not measured in grams, I can do the conversion once and just write it down here, and then I always have it in grams. If I want to make any changes or adjustments to recipe, it's pretty easy to do. And I like that I'm using just a whatever notebook. I don't have any special attachment to this notebook. Like I said, I got it for free because it helps me to not be too precious with this book. I'll just have it out on the counter when I am cooking or baking. I don't care if it gets dirty or gets wrinkled or whatever. I just wanted this to be something that I would use, and I do. Now we have more of my standard journal. Like I said, I have an on and off again relationship with this thing. I guess I'll talk about the notebook itself first. I went to this stationery store in Newton, if you're in the Boston area. They're called Paper Mouse. They're really great. Everyone who works there is like so nice and really passionate and knowledgeable about stationery. Highly recommend. Yeah, I just went and like opened up all the notebooks they had there, and I found that I really liked the notebooks by this brand called Usari. They're made in Japan. It's just like a soft paper cover. The thing that I like the most about them is like the paper itself. This one is a grid, which I mentioned before is my preferred style. And I feel like with the pens that I like to use, which is just like regular ballpoint pens from Muji, and also with my handwriting, it just like flows really nicely. So yeah, that's why I am a fan of this notebook. Unlike this notebook that I carry with me everywhere, so I try not to keep anything too personal in case, I mean, it's just with me everywhere. This notebook just stays with me at home. I'm not pulling this out around other people usually. So it's like a lot of my personal feelings. And I also often like to just like recap my days, because I think that's really nice to look back on, like flipping back through your journal and seeing some of the more like mundane but nice things that you did. Sometimes I'll go through phases where I really like to collage things in here, like tickets or like wristbands from shows, or printing out pictures and putting them in here. There will be other times where I'm just like straight writing. And then in the back I have some just like random papers that I've collected from my travels. Yeah, I love to keep things like this, and I feel like keeping them clipped in the back of my journal makes it a little bit more organized rather than having them like scattered in a drawer somewhere. And then this is the last notebook, and it's the one that I use least frequently. This is another notebook by that same brand, Usari, that I got at Paper Mouse. This one is lined sheets, and I was using this mostly when I was going through my like fan fiction writing phase. Like I would do my rough drafts of my fan fiction, and then I would type them up on my computer. But I do also find that these like larger pages, because most of my notebooks are small formats, it just makes it good for like planning out things like YouTube videos. I have cracked this notebook open again for that purpose, just to like use it up. Let's get these all together. Yeah, I hope you found this interesting like I do. Let me know what your journal ecosystem looks like. Okay, bye.